Welcome Cyclone fans to HLTV Channel 15, where the Harlan Community Girls Soccer Team will be going up against the West Central Valley Wildcats tonight in a non-conference battle. It is a hot one out there tonight, about 95, and then you add another 10 degrees for the turf temperature, so we'll have some water breaks in between. I'm Brayton Scheckinger bringing you your play-by-play. I'm also going to be doing the camera here tonight, so bear with me. Girls will get ready to go, and it looks like the Wildcats will start out with it. Official checks to make sure both keepers are ready. They get started here. Ball gets past there, Ivy Stevens. Now the Wildcats will kick it out of bounds, so the Cyclones will pass it in. That's Burchett who passed it in. Now Anderson with it. She'll pass it back to Kiergaard. Wildcats will once again clear it. The ball will travel out of bounds. The wind's in the upper 20s for the mile per hour going south to north, so it's going towards the Cyclones' back right now. Nice pass by Ava Munson. The keeper ran out of the box trying to get that one. Almost didn't pay off for her. And this one goes off Argensinger out of bounds, so the Wildcats will come back the other way. Nice pass there. Wicks trying to catch up to this one. Keeper for the Wildcats tonight is Tyra Jackson. She breaks down to her knees and grabs that one. This is Burchett with it for the Cyclones. She'll kick it past all the defenders. Now Wicks will try to race to get to this one. It's kicked out of bounds by the keeper, so the Cyclones will stay with it. It's Argensinger who passes it in. Now Schwiezo with it. She'll pass it to Stevens. Stevens tries to catch up to it. She stops it momentarily, but she's unable to put it in for the Cyclones. So the Wildcats will get ready to kick this out of the box. Wildcats kick it out of the box, and that one sails out of bounds. So the Cyclones will once again pass it in. This is Burchett. Burchett will try to pass it to Wicks. Wildcats able to get it out of there momentarily. Nice pass by Argensinger up to Stevens. Ivy Stevens trying to turn it back to the center. Goes out of bounds, and the Wildcats will have to kick this out of the box one more time. Burchett knocks it down. She'll pass this to Kiergaard. Kiergaard sticks with it. Now the Wildcats will come back the other way with it. as Schmitz will race to get this one, kicks it back to Miller. You can see the ball wants to travel back to the north because of that south-north wind. Now Schmitz takes that one away from the Wildcats. No call by the officials as Munson got a little bit physical with the Wildcats. Now Munson will come back the other way with it. Burchett trying to pass it back up to Stevens. This one goes out of bounds off of the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Burchett passes it in to Wicks. Now Wicks will pass it up to Schwezo, but Schwezo was well offsides. The official will call that, and the Wildcats will go ahead and kick it from about the 38-yard line. Cyclones come right back the other way with it. This could be dangerous as Schwezo's on the run. And the keeper will pick this up. That wind on the ball is not able, Schwezo's not able to get to the ball because of the wind. Carried the ball to the north, and see it again. As Jackson picks that up for the Wildcats. Now the Wildcats going to try to come back the other way with it. Anderson passes this to Wicks. This one goes out of bounds off of the Wildcats once again, so Munson will pass it in. Stevens passes it to herself. She'll kick this back. Attempt to kick it back to Wicks, who gets hit in the head, and Stevens is going to stick with it. The officials will blow it dead as Reagan Wicks shaking up on the play. She appears to be fine, so Wildcats will kick this. Wicks trying to pass that up to Schwezo as Burchett has it. She kicks it at the foot of Stevens. That's Munson who cut that off. This one once again out of bounds off of the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Keeper runs out of the box to get a hand on that one. Wildcats clear it. It goes out of bounds once again. Munson's throw up ahead. It's Wicks who's trying to race to it. Jackson bobbled it at first, but then regained control as she boots this away. Schmitz does a nice job of knocking that down. It's Kiergaard who takes a tumble. Now Munson kicks it up to Wicks. Wicks looking for Schwezo. Schwezo to the inside. She'll shoot, and she's wide right. Aubrey Schwezo had an opportunity. Unable to capitalize as the score remains 0-0 with 30 minutes and 58 seconds left to play in this first half. Wildcats will kick it out of the box as this one sails out of bounds once again. This ball will sail past Miller. Miller trying to turn it around, and she does so. Now the Wildcats will send in a sub, and along with the Cyclones sub in Cassie Anderson and Alexia Frosto. As the Wildcats get ready to pass it in. It's Wicks with it. She'll pass this one up to Anderson. Wildcats do a nice job of cutting that off. This is out of bounds off of the Cyclone, so the Wildcats will pass it in one more time. Schweezo on the far side battling for it, as she'll kick this one up to Wicks. Wicks will be offside, so the Wildcats will get it back right around the 30-yard line. That's Stevens with it. She gets it stolen by the Wildcats out of bounds, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Munson will pass it ahead for the Cyclones. This one gets past the defenders as Stevens will try to race to get to this one. The Wildcats will let it go out of bounds, so they will have yet another kick out of the box. See the wind moving the ball. Frosto with it. She'll pass this ahead to Stevens. Stevens will kick it back over in the direction of Schweezo. Now Schweezo has it as she will race. She'll kick it. Nice pass, but Stevens unable to catch up to that one. So once again, the Wildcats will kick it out of the box as Haley Good comes into the game for the first time tonight. Wildcats try to come up the far sideline with it. Goes out of bounds. Now they'll try to come right back the other way. This is good. We'll try to pass it up. Gets stolen by the Wildcats. Now the Wildcats on the run. Miller does a nice job of cutting them off. The Wildcats will Pass it in on the far side. Lexi Musage will pick this one up. She'll boot it away. With help from the wind, it travels all the way down to the 40-yard line. This goes out of bounds off the Cyclones. Miller kicks it out of bounds. Wildcats tried to take a shot. That plant foot that she planted slipped and unable to get anything as Kiergaard kicked it off of her out of bounds. So Musage will set this up and get ready to kick it out of the box. Musage's kick is knocked down by the Wildcats. Anderson on the far side will regain control for the Cyclones. That one goes off Schmitz. Musage will go to her left to pick the ball up. She'll drop kick this. Goes out of bounds off the Wildcats. So the Cyclones will pass it in once again. Argensinger returns for the Cyclones. Goes out of bounds off the knee of Argensinger. So the Wildcats come back the other way with it. Cyclones clear it out. Cyclones are able to kick it up as Shuizo is trying to race to get to this one. Wildcats do a nice job of trying to kick it out of bounds. Argensinger will kick it out of bounds. Last touched off of her. So the Wildcats will get it back. Wildcats get set and ready to pass it in. Frosto knocks it down. Wicks has it. Reagan Wicks will shoot, and it's in. Right over the goalie, Reagan Wicks with her first goal of the night and first goal for the Harlan Community Cyclones. Cyclones up 1-0 with 21 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first. Now we get set and ready to go again. So Wildcats will start off with things. This will go out of bounds off of the Wildcats. So Argensinger will pass it in. Cyclones pass it in. Shuizo battling for it, and the official will call foul on the Wildcats. The Cyclones will get ready to kick it away. Miller's kick knocked down twice by the Wildcats. This goes out of bounds off of the Cyclones. And we'll take a quick water break here with 20 minutes remaining in the first half. You're watching HLTV on channel 15.
Programming brought to you by these great sponsors: Keast Motors, Cyclone Lanes, Shelby County State Bank, United Bank of Iowa, Holly Jones Funeral Homes, KNOD Radio, Shelby County Farmers Mutual and Century Farm Insurance, and the Peterson Wellness Center and Lewis Family Aquatic Complex.
Welcome back to HLTV channel 15. As the Wildcats get ready to pass this in. Official will make sure everyone's ready and give the go to the Wildcats. This is Wicks with it for the Cyclones. She passes it up to Cassie Anderson. Now Schmitz will kick it back to Kiergaard. This will go out of bounds off of the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Looks like Cassie Anderson passed that in. Now the Wildcats coming back the other way. This travels out of bounds off of the Wildcats. Kiergaard throws it in. Nice pass up ahead to Reagan Wicks. Reagan Wicks will shoot, and it's in. Reagan Wicks with goal number 2 for her and the Cyclones. Cyclones now up 2-0 against the West Central Valley Wildcats with 18 minutes and 31 seconds left to play in the first half. Cyclones will now sub in number 8 Burchett and number 7 Anderson. Wildcats will get set to resume action as they'll kick it back. That goes off Argensinger, out of bounds. So the Wildcats will pass it in once again. Munson kicks it out of bounds. Excuse me, the Wildcats kick it out of bounds, so Munson will pass it in. Goes off the head of Argensinger, up in the air. Now off the head of Good, as the ball will travel in the direction of the Cyclones. Argensinger will try to catch up to this one. Wildcats do a nice job of getting square and trying to turn it back upfield. Nice Frostos there for the Cyclones. Now Munson will clear it as there's a collision. No call. This goes out of bounds off of the Cyclones, so the Wildcats will pass it in. Nice pass by the Wildcats off the head of a Cyclone. Musage will run and she'll kick this. Kicks it up to, looks like Anderson with a nice move as she now works it upfield for the Cyclones. Kayla Anderson working it all the way up as she'll take a shot. This is wide right. Anderson did a nice job for the Cyclones pushing it up, as the Cyclones will now sub in Clausen, Livingston, and Miller all come back in the game. Cyclones will have a corner kick. Looks like Argensinger will attempt it. She kicks this right to Clausen. Clausen tries to turn and kick it. Now the Wildcats will get it out, clear it, as Anderson does a nice job of knocking it down. She'll move to the far side, try to keep it in. She turns it back to the center, hoping someone would have been home. No one home, and the keeper for the Wildcats, Jackson, picks that up and boots it away. Nice pass by the Cyclones. This goes off of Good. Jackson runs to pick this up. Jackson will try booting this one away once again. Goes out of bounds, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Livingston passes it to Burchett. Wildcats take it away momentarily. This travels out of bounds off of the Cyclones, so the Wildcats will pass it in. There's Anderson, who tried to turn it back to the middle, goes out of bounds, so the Wildcats will set it up and get ready to kick it out of the box. Wildcats kick goes out of bounds. Clausen will pass it in for the Cyclones. This is Anderson, who will try to pass this to Good. Schmidt's battling with the Wildcats on the far side. There will be a foul called on the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will set it up and get ready to kick it away. Clausen will kick it. Jackson picks this one up. This will be saved by the Wildcats from going out of bounds as they're working it back. Nice pass by Burchett, who's trying to get it to Anderson. It travels out of bounds, so Wildcats will pass it in. Cyclones now sub in Stevens, who's back into the game. Ball was last touched by the Cyclones, so the Wildcats get ready to kick this one away. This is Anderson. Anderson will shoot, and she is wide right. Burchett had a nice pass as Reagan Wicks and Ava Munson both return for the Cyclones. That ball was last touched by the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will attempt a corner kick. This is Wicks. Nice corner kick right off the head of Anderson, and she's just a little bit wide right. This is out of bounds off of the Cyclones, so the Wildcats will kick it out of the box. Wicks with a nice move. She cuts it back to the inside. She shoots. This goes off the hands of the keeper, Jackson. It's Jackson's kick goes nowhere and sails out of bounds, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Livingston's pass right to Wicks. Wicks up ahead. That's Stevens, and Jackson breaks down to one knee to pick this up for the Wildcats. Cyclones kick it ahead. This one will go out of bounds off of the Cyclones, so the Wildcats will pass it in. Haven Munson does a nice job of putting the stop to the Wildcats' momentum going the other way. Now the Wildcats able to come back. Cyclones come up the far side. That's Anderson with it. She'll pass this back to Wicks. Now Reagan Wicks working inside. She'll pass this, looking for Stevens. And this will travel out of bounds off of the Cyclones. So the Wildcats will get ready to kick this out of the box. Cyclones up 2-0. Both goals coming from number 9, Reagan Wicks, with 6 minutes left to play in the first half. Now Anderson coming out with it on the far side. She'll try to take this ball back to the center. Runs out of real estate as it travels out of bounds, and the Cyclones will sub in Aubrey Schwiezo, and in for the first time tonight, number 18, Adrian Earlbeck. Livingston and Kayla Anderson both will come out for the Cyclones. Schmitz passes it back to Miller. Now Wicks has it. She dances inside. Gets it taken away from her. The Wildcats try working it back the other way. Contact, no call from the officials, as Earlbeck was fighting for that one. Stevens tries to pass this up to Wicks. Gets to Jackson before Wicks has an opportunity to do anything with it. Wildcats kick this downfield. Now Cyclones turn it back the other way, as this is Burchett. We'll try passing it up for the Cyclones. This goes off the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will once again pass it in. Schwiezo working on the far side. She's going to take this one herself. Ball's going to travel out of bounds. Getting pushed by the wind, so the Wildcats will set it up and kick this out of the box. Wildcats trying to do the give and go. Cyclones do a nice job of taking it away. As Wicks now has it. She'll try to pass this up to Schwezo. Now the Cyclones pass it up to Schwezo, but Schwezo gets called offsides. One minute, 30 seconds left to play in the first half. Cyclones up 2-0. As the Wildcats will get ready to kick this away. To go off the Cyclones out of bounds, so the Wildcats will pass it in. Now Schwezo will work it up the far side. She has 40 seconds left. This goes off the Wildcats. They do a nice job of stepping in front of Schwezo. Cyclones pass it in to Wicks. Wicks now with it. Nice move. She'll shoot. This one's knocked out of bounds by the keeper with time expiring in the first half. And at the end of the first half, the score is 2-0 in favor of the Harlan Community Cyclones. Both goals coming from Reagan Wicks. We'll be right back with second half coverage. You're watching HLTV on channel 15.
Programming brought to you by these great sponsors: Keast Motors, Cyclone Lanes, Shelby County State Bank, United Bank of Iowa, Holly Jones Funeral Homes, KNOD Radio, Shelby County Farmers Mutual and Century Farm Insurance, and the Peterson Wellness Center and Lewis Family Aquatic Complex.
Welcome back to HLTV channel 15, where play is about to resume. Cyclones up 2-0. Both goals coming from number 9, Reagan Wicks. She gets things started here in the second half for us. Kiergaard passes to Burchett. Burchett will kick it up as Wicks gets it. Now Aubrey Schwezo will get called for being offsides. Jumping the gun, so the Wildcats will get it back. Both teams switch sides, so now the wind is coming at the Cyclones' faces. Munson got kicked right in the leg, got cleated as the official blow his whistle and call a foul on the Wildcats. Miller kicks it ahead to Wicks with a header. Now this ball is going to get past everyone. The wind's going to blow it right into the hands of Lexi Musage, the Cyclones goalkeeper. Now Reagan Wicks will pass this ahead to Ivy Stevens. Wildcats are going to cut her off, and they'll kick this out of bounds, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Munson will pass it in as she flips. This one will end up right next to the goal. No one home for the Cyclones now. This one's shot on by Kayla Anderson off the hands of Jackson and sails out of bounds. Reagan Wicks will attempt a corner kick for the Cyclones. Wicks passes to Burchett, back to Wicks, and Wicks' goal. That is another goal by Reagan Wicks. Coach Boyson drew that up. The Cyclones executed it perfectly as Reagan Wicks puts the Cyclones on the board as it's now 3-0. All three goals coming from number 9, Reagan Wicks. Cyclones will try to work it back against this wind as Wicks will kick this ahead to Stevens. Stevens going to try to outrun the Wildcats. The Wildcats will cut her off momentarily, and then Jackson will pick it up for the Wildcats, and she'll boot it out of the box off the knee of Kiergaard. Anderson handles it. Anderson looking for Wicks. The Wildcats do a nice job of taking that away as Argensinger now will try passing this up ahead. Burchett will pass it in. Stevens knocks it down. Trying to pass back to Burchett. Stolen by the Wildcats as Schmitz comes up to boot this one away. And Stevens unable to get there. Jackson picks it up. She'll once again kick this as Musage will come on out of the box to kick this one away. Kiergaard battling for it. This will go off the Wildcats. Nice move by Ivy Stevens as she'll try to pass this ahead to Wicks. Deflected off the Wildcats. I'm going to go out of bounds off the Wildcats. Goes off the foot of Argensinger. Out of bounds, and the Wildcats will pass it in once again. Nice pass by Anderson up to Argensinger. Now Wicks will pass this ahead to Schwezo, and Schwezo gets called for another offsides. Goes off the foot of Schmitz. Stevens has it. Cyclones defenders doing a nice job of keeping the Wildcats out of the box. Nice pass by Schwezo as the wind kills it. Anderson will pass this ahead to Schwezo. She'll have to race to go get this one. Wildcats try to turn this back upfield as Schwezo has it for the Cyclones. There's some contact. Jackson will pick it up. Ball goes straight up in the air and out of bounds off the Cyclones. Stevens working it up. Goes off the knee of a Wildcat, out of bounds. Schmitz will track this ball down and pass it in for the Cyclones. Now Anderson will run with it. She's ahead of everyone, has some open space in front of her. Wildcats are able to cut her off. Schweizer will pass it back to Anderson. Anderson will try passing it back to the middle. This goes off the foot of Frosto, out of bounds. Ball goes back to Miller. We'll go out of bounds off of Miller. Lexi Musage will pick this up for the Cyclones. Schmitz passes this one up to Wicks. Now Anderson has it. Nice pass up to Schweizo. Schweizo's going to run with this one. Aubrey Schweizo up the right side. She'll put a hold to the ball. Nice move by Aubrey Schweizo. She shoots, and this one is picked up by Jackson. A really nice move by Aubrey Schweizo to get a chance at that great of a look. Jackson does a nice job of picking that up. Nice header by Munson. As Musage will run and pick up this one. Anderson kicks this off of the Wildcats. Tatiana Schumer and Haley Good in the game now for the Cyclones as Schmitz passes this in to Schweizo. Schweizo back to Schmitz. This is out of bounds off of the Wildcats. Wildcats working it up the far sideline. This will go off of Munson. Miller will turn this back for the Cyclones. Frosto with it as Munson will give it a boot and clear it for the Cyclones up to Stevens. This will go out of bounds off of the Wildcats, so Stevens will pass it in for the Cyclones. Haley Good trying to work with it, gets it stolen away. Schumer passes it to Stevens. Stevens trying to pass this to Wicks. And the Wildcats will kick it out of bounds. Now Good kicks it up to Stevens. Stevens trying to turn this back to the middle for Wicks. This will be kicked out of... Nope, it's going to be saved by Frosto. And now Good with it. She's going to look to pass this up to Schweizer. Would have been a heck of a pass if it would have got through everyone. Now Schumer's there for the Cyclones to knock that one down as she tries to pass that to another Cyclone. And Wildcats now working with it as this one's going to sail all the way down to Musage. And Musage kicks this off the head of a Wildcat. Now Miller's down for the Cyclones as medical staff will attend to her. We'll take a step away. You're watching HLTV on Channel 15.
Programming brought to you by these great sponsors: Keith Motors, Cyclone Lanes, Shelby County State Bank, United Bank of Iowa, Holly Jones Funeral Homes, KNOD Radio, Shelby County Farmers Mutual and Century Farm Insurance, and the Peterson Wellness Center and Lewis Family Aquatic Complex.
Welcome back to HLTV Channel 15, where play resumes. Ava Miller able to get off of the field on her own power, shaking up on that left leg it looked like. Now Stevens working with it. She'll try to pass this ahead to Cyclones. One gets a hold of it and pushes it back. Anderson with a nice move there. This goes out of bounds off of the Wildcats, so Schmitz will pass it in. Now Schweizer will work with it. Full head of steam. She's racing downfield. Wildcats do a nice job of stepping in front of Schweizer. And now the Wildcats will boot this away. This goes off the Cyclones out of bounds, and the Wildcats will pass it in. And we'll take a quick water break. We'll be right back. You're watching HLTV on Channel 15. Welcome back to HLTV Channel 15. Play resumes. The Wildcats will throw it in, and now the Cyclones will get it back. Cyclones up 3-0. All 3 goals coming from number 9, Reagan Wicks. With 19 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the second half. Wicks with a nice move. She'll pass this over to Schwezo. Now Schwezo will try passing this back to Wicks. Let's go out of bounds off of the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will throw it in. This gets past everyone. Now Wicks with it. She puts a move on the Wildcats. Is physical down there as Wicks goes for the ball. She misses, and the Wildcats will come back the other way with it. Wildcats all the way down inside the Cyclones box as they try to center this. As Schmitz is there. Tries to kick it out of bounds. The wind gets a hold of it. Stays in now. Wildcats will take a shot, and this one will be wide right. Musage will line this up. Get ready to kick it away. Go out of bounds off of the Wildcats. Schmitz will have to wait to throw this in as Wicks had to take off something. Wicks with a nice pass up ahead to Haley Good. It's out of bounds off of the Wildcats. Cyclones pass it right back in. Good passes it back to Frosto. Frosto up to Stevens, and the Wildcats take it away. Kiergaard's kick up ahead in the direction of Good. Now Schmitz will run up and kicks it right in the gut of the Wildcats, and now we got a Wildcat down as coach will run out there and check on her. Looks like she'll just exit the playing field, as there's 3 Wildcats ready to sub back in. The Wildcats get things started once again. This kick gets past all the Cyclone defenders as Munson will run to try to get this. Kicks it out of bounds. This goes out of bounds off the Cyclone, so the Wildcats will go ahead and attempt a corner kick. Musage will run up and she'll catch this one before any other Wildcats are able to get a hand on it. This kick is wide right for the Wildcats, and Cyclone sub in 4, including Livingston, Argensinger, Anderson, and Clausen, who are all returning for the Cyclones. Now Schumer with it. She gets cut off by the Wildcats and runs over a Wildcat, gets called for the foul. Kicks on the way. It ricochets off of a Wildcat, and the Cyclones will set it up to kick it out of the box. Usage attempts to kick this one out of the box. The wing gets a hold of it. It sails out of bounds. Good will come back with it for the Cyclones as Wicks will kick this ahead to Argensinger. Argensinger will try to run to get to this one. Argensinger with a nice move. She'll try to shoot. She's wide right as it goes off of her foot. Schumer with a nice pass to Livingston. Livingston to Good. Then passes it to Wicks. Wicks making a few Wildcats miss. And Jackson will run up and pick this up. She'll kick this away. Nice pass by the Wildcats. They're going to have an opportunity at something here. And Kiergaard does a nice job of stepping in front of the Wildcats to take that one away. Now the Wildcats will shoot wide left. Madison Kiergaard, a nice job there. She's a Cyclone defender filling in for Ava Miller, who went down with an injury earlier on in the game. She's done a nice job at filling that role for the Cyclones. Cyclones had a few subs come in. Adrian Earlbeck back into the game, along with Grace Albertson. Clausen will boot this up to Burchett. This goes off the foot of Schumer. So the Wildcats will have a corner kick. Wildcats corner kick ends up in the hands of Lexi Musage. Musage will go ahead and drop kick this. A nice one against the wind. Gets to Argensinger. Argensinger back to Earlbeck. Earlbeck trying to pass this ahead to Livingston. Wind gets a hold of it. Now Livingston with a nice pass to Argensinger, and Argensinger will get called for offsides. Now Anderson passes it back to Clausen. Kiergaard will kick this out of bounds, and the Wildcats will have to pass this in. Nice move by Wildcats. Now Argensinger will work it back the other way. She tries to pass this up to Livingston, taken away by the Wildcats. Now Earlbeck passes it up to Argensinger, who can't control it. She'll race back to try to get to it, and Livingston will pass this in to Burchett. Clausen trying to stick with it. She does so as she passes this up ahead to Anderson. Anderson has to run back to get it, and this one's kicked out of bounds by the Wildcats, so the Cyclones will pass it in. Schumer trying to pass this up ahead to Clausen. Kiergaard puts a stop to that ball as she passes up the far sideline to Clausen. This goes off the Wildcats out of bounds, as the Cyclones will now sub in Stevens, Good, and Cassie Anderson, who will all return for the Cyclones. Haley Good navigating her way inside the middle. She's going to have a shot on goal. And this one's in. Haley Good will score for the Cyclones. A nice set of moves by Good. She made that look easy. As the Cyclones now up 4-0 against the West Central Valley Wildcats. Now Anderson passes it up and the Wildcats kick it back down. Earlbeck passes this ahead to Livingston. Jackson will run up and grab this one for the Wildcats. Kiergaard steps in front. She's down for the moment as the Wildcats still working with it. And the Wildcats will put this in for another goal. It's the Wildcats' first goal of the game. That was by number 6, Isabel Munoz. And score is now 4-1. Goal by Good and goal by Munoz. Back to back. Late in the second half with 3 minutes 47 seconds left to play. Cassie Anderson will work this up as she passes it ahead to Haley Good. Good out and running. This one trickles off the side of her foot. And Jackson picks it up once again. Albertson kicks it out up ahead to Earlbeck. Earlbeck gets it stolen away as Clausen will take it back for the Cyclones. Stevens passes to Earlbeck. Earlbeck back to Clausen. Clausen then boots it downfield in the direction of Stevens. Stevens gets tripped up by the Wildcats. She'll take this back from the Wildcats. She's going to work it near the goal as she takes a shot. This goes off the Wildcats and into the hands of Jackson, the keeper. Good trying to pass it up to Stevens. Stolen by the Wildcats. This goes out of bounds off the Wildcats. Cyclones pass it in. Nice move by Clausen. As she surveys the field looking for someone to pass to. She'll get this stolen by the Wildcats. Now Cassie Anderson. Pass this to Earlbeck. Earlbeck up ahead to Livingston. Earlbeck trying to get it back to Livingston, unable to, as this goes off the foot of Stevens. Trickles to the far side of the field. Stevens will pass it back to Earlbeck. And the Wildcats knock it back down. As that's the end of this game. The Cyclones win 4-1. 3 goals scored by Reagan Wicks, 1 by Haley Good. And they didn't give up that last goal until the last 5 minutes. And it wraps things up from Merrill Field. A hard-fought win in 95-degree heat. Thank you for watching HLTV on Channel 15, where it's always great to be a Cyclone.